And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to this Monday afternoon edition of the High Noon Report with your good pal, Jeremy Jared Dog family. I'll be bringing the Jared Dog Comedy Live Roadshow to my stomping grounds this weekend, this Saturday, March 5th, at the Rusted Sprocket Saloon. The Rusted Sprocket. It's a bar and grill in Fountain, Iowa. That's not that far away from where I live. I like doing those shows compared to back in the day when I would drive many hours all over this great country of ours to bring the laughs to nightclubs, taverns, neighborhood bars all over the country. Drive many hours. Get there, get ready to go, you get checked into your hotel, you find the place you're performing, you do your sound check, you go through all the rigmarole, get on stage to make them laugh. It takes quite a bit of energy, but if it's nearby, that's easy. Or if it's like this last weekend, where I drove down to Champaign, Illinois to perform at the world-famous Red Hot Winter, hosted, produced by, promoted by world-famous stylist and showman, my good friend Rod Sickler. And shout out to everybody that was part of that show for making it a lot of fun. That was easy because it was a long drive. But then they're like, just get on stage and do 7 to 10 minutes of your absolute most insane, hard-hitting, crowd-thumping comedy. Do your best stuff you got. And the dirtier, the better, which is something you don't normally hear at things like a fundraiser for charity. But this particular fundraiser, Red Hot Winter, they're like, the dirtier, the better. And what was difficult for me about that, actually, the difficult thing for me to do was rein everything in to a 7 to 10 minute set. When I'm used to going on for, an hour and a half plus or more, it's very difficult for me to rein all that in. What is the best stuff and how do I make that cohesive? How do I have time to continue, do the interaction with the audience, which is what everybody knows and loves? Skylar, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Let me know if you can hear me okay. You know how it is sometimes on the High Noon Report. People can't hear. There's something goes crazy with the audio, whether it's an internet connection or, my technical skills being tested past their range of ability. Even just plugging a microphone in properly to the laptop. Sometimes no working. So one thing I do like about doing those short sets, though, is it definitely follows the rule number one of show business, which is always leave them wanting more. I can hear you great. Thanks, Skylar. Good to see you, man. And Skylar, I'll be in your neck of the woods. April 15th in Rockford. Head on up to the Screw City Tavern. That'll be another fun and exciting show. We're going to bring on a couple of bonus comedians for that one, if all goes as planned, as well as Double T from the Eagle in Rockford, the station that I am on each and every week with my segment called Wake and Bake. So that's going to be a blast. Always leave them wanting more, though. That's rule number one. And when you do those tight sets, people are like, man, we wanted you to keep going. We wanted to hear more. And they say that almost like they're disappointed that you didn't keep going. But that's actually a compliment. I'm not like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, that was the idea. The idea is to make you want to see more of this. And whether you're checking out the Jared Dog Live in person or right here in the virtual experience, that's the whole idea. To make you want to come back for more. Always leave them wanting more. That's rule number one. See, a lot of comedians make the mistake of going past what they've prepared. They go past the big ending if it doesn't get the reaction that they were hoping for from the audience. So they don't get the big reaction towards the end of their set when they thought that they might get it. So they keep going and going and going until they finally, hopefully, maybe get that big reaction where they can finally say, thank you, good night, and the next performer comes up. And I would go on the record of saying, even though I've made that mistake many times myself, it is definitely a rookie mistake. Sometimes you just got to do what you prepared. Just end with the ending that you had in mind, even if it doesn't get the big reaction that you were hoping for. And instead of trying to keep going and wing it and go past what you've prepared and maybe hopefully get that big reaction, most likely what will happen is you go into nervous desperation. Your armpits start sweating, your heart starts thumping, your hands get all sweaty, you can barely hold on to the microphone, and you keep going and going and going and trying to get more of a reaction. And then what that does is, through the desperation, the psychological element of not getting the reaction that you're wanting, you creates this downward spiral where things just get harder and harder and harder to get that crowd going in the way that you wanted them to go. If you didn't have them going, and you didn't end strong like you wanted them to end strong, get the big, huge round of applause or the big, huge cheer, the big laugh at the end of your set, you still just say thank you, good night. Realize it's not always going to go the way you planned in your head. Most jokes don't work the way you planned in your head. A lot of the stuff that I write out sounds better in my head, and it was a hell of a lot funnier when I thought of it. And you start writing it out on paper, and then you're like, that's kind of shaky, even if I'll give it a try. And sometimes it just goes over like a lead balloon. And then there's other jokes where you're like, this is probably the dumbest thing that I've ever thought of in my life. And that's what goes over like gangbusters. And you're like, well, that's the keeper. It's surprising sometimes what an audience will react to and what they won't react to. And when I do these short sets like I did last week at Red Hot Winter, you can come out gangbusters, just crushing it for like the first 5, 6, 7 minutes. And then you get to that last one, and now they're giving you the signal, time to wrap it up. You got another minute or 2 minutes. And then it's like, holy shit, how do I time my big wow ending for that? While I was improvising with the audience, while I was trying to remember how to get from one bit to the next. And now I got to succinctly wrap all this up in 2 minutes or less and still get the big wow ending. Whew. That is no easy feat, my friends. That is where comedy is not as easy as it looks. Timing is everything, but will never be perfect. And so if you just leave them wanting more, maybe I went a little bit short on Friday night, as a matter of fact, in my set, because I got the big reaction at the end. And then they're like, then I just said, thank you, good night. It was sort of close to the end of my set. And I was like, thank you, good night. Put the microphone down and get the hell out of there. And then that leaves them wanting more. So then the next night when I went back to do the same show, and it was a lot of different people in the audience, but I still got the note of, go a little bit longer, man. You were crushing it. Keep going. We want to see more. I was like, that was the idea. Leave them wanting more. Then the next night, you add a little bit more to the routine. You got your timing down a little bit better. It's a different type of show than what you normally used to performing, but now you've got one, under your belt, so you know what to expect a little bit better. And then you just get up there and have fun. Again, always leave them wanting more. That's the idea. A lot of comedians, like I said, they try to go past that. They try to get the big laugh at the end, the part where they really hoped that it would happen, the part that they prepared, the part that they had in their mind, that this is going to be the big capper of the night, and everybody's going to be chanting my name and carrying me out, on their shoulders, like I just won the mayoral election, carrying me around on the throne like I'm Cleopatra going through the city. And it's like, yeah, that's rarely is that, if ever, is that going to happen, unless you know for sure this is my big closing bit. And then you deliver it with plum, gusto, confidence, and those types of sets. I've definitely had a time or two. You know this is the big wow ending. This is my big closing finish. And that it works pretty much every single time. But even then, if it doesn't, for whatever reason, maybe right as you're about to deliver that big payoff punchline, a waitress comes in and drops an entire tray of drinks. Well, then what are you going to do? Then what are you going to do? And that's the point. You never know. Sometimes you got to leave them wanting more, but sometimes you also got to get the hell out of there, regardless of whether you got that big reaction or not. You can still leave them wanting more, even if you didn't get the big reaction. But if you keep going and going and going and going, kind of like this video right now, you start rambling and rambling and rambling with no real ending in mind, just hoping for the best. That's a recipe for disaster. David Johnson checking in. Bud says, you ever laugh on stage and can't stop? Sometimes I've gotten there, but a lot of times I've realized the audience kind of likes that. When the comedian cracks themselves up, when the comedian says or does something that they just find is funny and they can't stop laughing. It's not that I can't stop laughing. It's that sometimes I find it way funnier than what the other people find it. And sometimes it just tickles me. And the harder you try to stop laughing, the more difficult it is to stop laughing. So been there, done that. But I usually think in general that typically adds to the show. A lot of times the audience is like that. They feel like they got to see something special that they normally wouldn't get to see. But you also don't want to use that as a crutch. I've seen a lot of performers, stand up or otherwise, when they're doing their comedy, they do the fake laugh thing. Or, it's like they're trying to mimic what they saw on old reruns of Carol Burnett, and where they crack up in the sketch and then the audience likes it that much more. It's like, that's not really something you can fake. If it's genuine, I say roll with it. Don't try to stifle yourself. If it's genuine, be entertained and have some laughs right there with the audience. It shows you to be more human. It makes you more part of the group. And it typically works out in your favor as a performer. But if you fake it, they know. They know. The audiences know. Even if they couldn't put their finger on it or articulate it, they know. David Johnson. If Jew lived their faith and comes back, is he considered throwing down a joke? That's what I'm saying. Probably went past the ending of the show. Thank you, Kevin Lambert. Good seeing you again. My old friend from Red Hot Winter back in the day. Kevin Lambert. It was a lot of fun this weekend. I missed you, my friend, and I hope to do a show with you again soon. And everybody else out there in Jaredog Land, come see a show wherever you're at. Leave it in the comments below where you're watching from. I'll let you know when the Jaredog Comedy Roadshow will be coming to your area soon. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or hit the follow button if you're watching on Facebook or Twitch. Follow me at all the social medias at Jaredog Live, plus JaredogLive.com has got my website on there. And if you sign up on my website, you get a free viewing of documentary that I made called American Smartass. You get free tickets to an upcoming show, and you also get a ongoing behind-the-scenes look at my adventures in stand-up comedy, traveling around the country, whether it's old school vintage video or whether it's modern day madcap miscellaneous moments. Otherwise, I'm here as much as I possibly can at high noon Central Time or as close as possible. So until next time, I'll see you later, everybody, and dog bless America.